Welcome to the Leaseplan National Lacrosse League All-Star Series, coming to you from the Hisense Arena in Melbourne, Australia. For the first time ever, lacrosse players from Australia, the United States and Canada have assembled down under to compete in an All-Star Series. The series will feature the world's best lacrosse players from the professional National Lacrosse League of North America. Two teams representing the East and West conferences will compete in a two-game series staged over 2 nights. High speed, skill and fair share of big hits, lacrosse has gained huge support across North America, where it's developed into a professional game and is now one of the fastest growing team sports. Australia has a rich tradition of playing lacrosse too, but the sport has long suffered from a lack of profile, with many of the country's leading players forced to compete abroad. The National Lacrosse League sees Australia as a fertile market and are looking to spread the gospel by bringing the best players in the world down under.
The event itself is huge. The National Lacrosse League has never extended itself outside of North America. This is the first opportunity. We couldn't think of a better place than Melbourne, Australia, which we're told is the sports capital of the world. Obviously, such a passionate fan base. We come out to the arena and we see several stadiums right around here, 100,000 seats. We have 10,000 seats at Hisense. Just an incredible opportunity. Australia, a lot of kids are playing at the school level, and so a great chance to showcase our talent as well as see some of the Australian talent and see which guys maybe can play at the NLL level.
When I first heard about it, I was really excited, was really hoping to get selected. And when the phone call came asking me if I wanted to come to Australia, it was a no-brainer for me.
When I found out that I was going to be one of those guys, it was nothing but smiles. And then, instant yes on my part, as soon as I could get everything together that I needed to get together.
Hearing there was an all-star game, especially overseas in Australia, I think a lot of the guys all jumped on board. It's certainly a way to broaden your horizons and experience a new country, and at the same time, play the sport that we love in a great city and on another continent. It's fantastic.
The teams were actually from the National Lacrosse League. They picked the best of the best and invited those guys down here, and everybody wanted to come, as you can imagine. A free trip to Australia to showcase their skills and to see a new country. 24 lucky recipients, Americans and Canadians, from the 11 NLL franchises were selected to come down. These are the absolute best players in the world. You think about the names that you might know. Gary Gait pioneered lacrosse back in 1987 when he arrived at Syracuse University up in New York. John Grant Jr. with the Rochester Nighthawks, Gary's teammate right now. Grant won an MVP a couple years ago. Mark Stainhouse, a 3-time All-Star MVP. Wouldn't be shocked for him to pick up another Most Valuable Player award at this event. A couple of Australians are playing in the National Lacrosse League All-Star Series. Wes Green actually played for the San Jose Stealth. He's been a teammate with several of these guys here. Tim Fry played in the league several years ago. He's a great reason why we're here today. I have huge hopes for these guys, and the greatest compliment I think for an Australian player in this event is not knowing that they're an Australian. If they go out there and they fit in with the other players, that means that they're doing their job, and that means they can play at this level with the best.
The Leaseplan All-Star Series generated plenty of interest in the lead-up to the event, giving series promoter Chris Heverin high hopes for the future.
This is the start. This is part of putting the sport on the map, and we've got to keep looking at the big picture and where we're developing it. And this is a 3-year commitment from all the parties to really, first of all, from North America to reach out and get to other parts of the world, and from Australia, it's about putting the sport of lacrosse on the map. Going right back to 1907, lacrosse kicked an AFL game off the MCG. So it's a long time ago, but the vision is there to put the sport back in the mainstream.
There's definitely some comparisons with Aussie rules and lacrosse. The hitting is probably the biggest comparison. I saw quite a few big hits today when I was watching it on TV, and you'll see a few of those tonight for sure.
As the players warmed up for Game 1, the crowd soaked up the occasion, getting a taste of big-time professional lacrosse for the very first time. With the series decided over just 2 games, it was critical for each team to get off to a good start. Despite the distractions of Melbourne, the 2 teams went into the contest ready to do battle, determined to put on a great show for the large Melbourne crowds who gathered to see the best in the business strut their stuff. Here are the team lineups. The East team features a very strong offensive lineup with 3 Australian players, Jacob Egan, Darren Nicholas and Keith Nyberg on board. And watch out for John Grant Jr., well regarded as the best player in the world today. And the West team, what they lack in offensive strike power, they more than make up for with a strong defensive lineup and plenty of experience. The team headed by Brodie Merrill from Canada, featuring a strong Australian lineup with 5 players in action. And if you're not familiar with the game, here are a few basic rules presented by Fuso to get you started. Each team, 6 players on the floor, 5 runners, 1 goalie, played over 4 by 15-minute quarters, 2 timeouts per half for each team. If you fail to advance the ball quickly enough, a 10-second violation, and there is a 30-second shot clock. A healthy crowd at Hisense Arena watched on as Game 1 of the Leaseplan National Lacrosse League All-Star Series got underway. Jeff Snyder won possession for the East but was unable to capitalise, a shot clock violation forcing the turnover. It wasn't long before the East were back in possession and Jordan Hall was on the receiving end of a great pass from Sean Evans to score the first goal of the match. The East put up strong defence, but a goal by Canadian Jeff Shatler sparked a brilliant run of 4 goals by the West. Backed up by some strong defence, the West defended their lead, taking a 4-2 score into the first break. The margin was reined in early in the second quarter. On a power play, Wiles and Schneider scored 2 goals within 10 seconds to bring the East level again at 4-all. As the teams continued to trade blows, a Prestige Truck Bodies timeout was called. Whether it was the Leaseplan dancing girls or some inspirational words from Coach Ward Sanderson, something sparked the East into action. The boys in red came out firing in both offence and in defence. The East went into overdrive as they stacked on 7 unanswered goals, including 3 from John Grant Jr. and a special from Australian Darren Nicholas. Another Aussie, Tim Fry, scored at the other end as the West battled to stay in the game. Time in the penalty box for Jeff Snyder gave the West a chance to narrow the lead, but some great defence ensured the East would close out the half with a commanding 5-point lead.
Many guys going down one end. Let's just be a little bit smarter about coming back.
The West were left searching for answers at half-time. After some stern words from the coach, the boys in blue were keen to make amends in the second half. Unfortunately for them, the East picked up where they left off. Wiles scored a superb round-the-back assist from Steenhuis, extending the lead to 13-7. The Australian players more than held their own as the goals kept coming. Nicholas assisted Gary Gate for the East. And fellow Victorians Ben Newman and Ryan Garnsworthy both found the net. The West lifted again and 2 more goals brought the deficit to within 2. With things starting to look more promising for the West, East coach Ward Sanderson called a Prestige Truck Bodies timeout in an effort to change the momentum. It turned out to be a masterstroke. The East soon regained control as a seemingly unstoppable Mark Steenhuis bagged a double. At 16-12, the lead was back out to 4, and the West were lucky it wasn't 5 before the break when a crease violation denied Wiles another goal. Down but not out, West hit back only 9 seconds into the final quarter. But continual missed opportunities and the sheer brilliance of players like Snyder, Grant and Steenhuis ensured the goals kept flowing for the East, and the lead soon blew out to 20-13. Every player in an all-star team is here for a reason, with Wiles showing why he's regarded as one of the world's best. And not to be outdone, Aussie Steve Mortimer put on a move that had the East defence in a spin. Try as they might, West had no answer to the Iron Fist East defence. A goal in the dying stages sealed the result, and the East took a well-deserved win, drawing first blood in the two-game series, 24-16.
Well, Mark, congratulations, most valuable player. It must have felt good.
Oh yeah, I mean, it feels pretty neat when you get something like this, playing with all these players, the best of the best, and I mean, it really could happen to any one of these players, and it just so happened it was me tonight. So, we got to get back at it tomorrow and try to win another one, get that cup.
So, Brody, how was it out there?
It was fun. It was a really good experience. I think it's really all you can ask for kind of an all-star type scenario. So lots of goals, lots of action, and guys really played hard tonight. So it was nice to see. Regroup, and I think hopefully get a little bit of rest tonight, and I'd make a few adjustments. But basically, just going to come out and play hard again and see what happens.
Away from the All-Star competition, a number of the players took time out to visit Eltham, a small community located just outside of Melbourne. Apart from a chance to meet some of the locals and sign a few autographs, the boys put on a bit of a demonstration, showing some of the finer points of lacrosse.
It's just a chance for us to get out in the community, local community in Melbourne, and meet some of the young players, the future of Australian lacrosse. So we're here having a good time.
The games, just to see, people, fans, parents, all involved and wanting to, their kids to play the game. Their facial expressions on the kids when you come off, high fives, give them an autograph. They're pretty happy. They're so happy. So I'm glad I got this opportunity to come down with a couple of the boys from Canada and the States to show you guys what the game's about, and hopefully you guys can build on it from there, right? I think, in a couple of years, like anything, you guys grow and expand and get better as time goes.
Lacrosse community is great. They support everything about lacrosse, and chance for us to get over here, and they're out supporting us, taking care of us, making sure that it's a great experience.
With a speed gun for good measure, some of the players show just how fast they can propel a ball.
Well, for a good lacrosse player, you're shooting well over 160 kilometers an hour, and some 170, 180 for some of the guys that really shoot hard. It takes a lot of practice, but it comes easy. Once you get a stick in your hand, you learn to love the game, and you learn to catch and throw, and you just get better and better the more you have it in your hands.
For Australian player Keith Nyberg, it was just an honour to play in such prestigious company.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic to see these guys down here. I mean, we all know about them, and actually see them in person is an unbelievable experience, not just for me, but also all the kids and fans out here. It's unbelievable. I've played against a number of these guys in the World Championships, but to be on the same team as Gary Gayton, John Grant Jr. and some of those guys was pretty surreal. Lacrosse has been in Australia for over 100 years, so it's always had a good base, but we're really looking to use this event to push the numbers and really get it a bit more exposure and start to get more kids playing and grow the sport. And it's a great spectacle to watch, and the more people that see it, I think the more people get playing.
After a comprehensive victory to the East in Game 1, the West had to rein in a deficit of 8 goals and win Game 2 if they were to have any chance of taking up the Leaseplan All-Star Series. As we join Josh Gross for the start of Game 2.
The East dominant a night ago against the West. It is Saturday evening here in Melbourne at Hisense Arena. The East in the red and black, and the West in the blue and black. Tim Fry taking the opening face-off. Jeff Snyder, such a beast at that face-off circle, wins the early one. You'll see him dominant throughout the evening. Fans still filing in here to Hisense. Grant, a fake shot from outside. That one easily handled by Richards. Ball loose. Ian Hawksby has the first loose ball of the game, belonging to the West. Outlet pass up the floor. Brody Merrill, a couple years ago named the best player in the world. Ball stripped away and controlled by the West in the offensive set. Early going from Hisense. Dane Doby curling around the top. Double team comes. Nicholas there to help, as is Egan. Doby controlling. Merrill in front, and the first save for Anthony Cosmo. Officials say a crease violation, and the ball belonging to the East. Chad Culp leaving for Wiles. From the Washington Stealth, swings to the far side. Team still getting their legs under them, and a shot and a goal. It's the first one of the night, and it's little Sean Evans from the Rochester Nighthawks lighting the lamp.
It's the little man Evans story violation, what we talked about moments ago.
1-0 East, Stainhouse controlling.
That's what led to the turnover, the ball back to the East.
Here's Egan dancing to the goal. One of the Australians out here in this game. Feet in tight, too tight there for Wiles, couldn't be handled in the West. In transition, couple minutes gone by from Hisense. Shatler's shot and a save by Cosmo down low. Ball loose out at midfield. Stainhouse slows, now dumps back, and a turnover by the East. Of course, a high-scoring affair last night here at Hisense between East and West. The East victorious, Stainhouse the man of the match, and a goal for the West. Ben Newman from Williamstown Lacrosse Club. The first goal of the night for the West, getting them on the board. You can see Newman cutting inside. He beat West Green. Face-off win for Darren Nicholas. The Eltham Lacrosse Club product, cutting inside Jarrett Park from the Titans. Feed back to Culp. Ball loose behind the cage. Richards spots it out of the goal. Park, pass on over to Nicholas, and a goal. It looked like he was going to shoot. He pulled it back. Fed to Darren Nicholas on the crease in the East. Up 2-1. Shatler, Stainhouse defending. Far side now up top. The West looking to tie once again. The East had the first, West had goal number 2, and East scored the third one of the game. Park creates some confusion. Wraparound goal around the world. Couldn't have been prettier, and the West ties it up at 2. Dane Doby with the miracle goal.
Keith Nyberg is given a penalty for roughing in back play, and with a one-man advantage, the West are quick to take advantage with a power play, and it's not long before Jeff Zawicki finds the net, taking the West to an early lead. East refuse to lie down and continue to trade blows with the West, staying within 1 goal as we rejoin the action at 5-4.
The West, its second lead of the game. Up by 1, that matches its largest lead. Snyder jumped too early on the faceoff, chucks the ball then at his opponent, and he's going to sit for 2 minutes after the infraction. Looks like he's signing an autograph in the box. The All-Stars keeping busy. Left-handed shot from outside. No good. Ball loose. Cosmo comes up with it. Long outlet down the floor, looking for the short-handed goal, and Mark Stainhouse and Anthony Cosmo make the West pay. 5-5 our score. Stainhouse marched all the way down the floor. He beat the West, and a short-handed tally. Final possession of the first quarter. Pat Merrill, his brother Brody playing for the West. Here's Merrill, loses it momentarily out of his stick. Bruce Codd defending. Snyder, gun from outside, wide of Richards. And that's the way the first quarter of action ends. A little bit of scuffling going on. Bruce Codd and Pat Merrill exchanging pleasantries as 1 quarter in the books. On the replay, you can see Merrill and Codd getting into it a bit as the first quarter comes to a close.
3 goals by the West All-Stars early in the second quarter extended their lead to 8-5 as they look to make up for that 8-point loss from Game 1.
Leaseplan NLL All-Stars.
Zawicki and Snyder. Snyder quick win to himself, moving it forward over to Stainhouse. Ball popped free. Zawicki loose ball around John Grant Jr. Up the floor, a 3-on-2 develops. Shatler fake pass and scores. Nice transition goal from the West, and Shatler puts them up 4. Take another look. You see Shatler, bunch of fakes, no chance for Cosmo. Face-off win for Jarrett Park. East bleeding a bit right now. Grant double team, bunch of fakes, 12:50 to go in the quarter. Now to the right hand, pass across crease, and Richards makes a nice save, hugging that far post. Evans a little bit caught up, and the West back the other way. Here's Dutch. Been quiet so far this evening, as has Andrew McBride. Doby around a screen, still coming near side, dumps off as he has a man in front of the crease. It's picked off by Stainhouse. The wheels of Stainhouse up to Pat Merrill. A fake, and Richards cut him off to prevent the shot in transition. Codd over to Merrill, ball loose, far goal line extended. Stainhouse controlling. The East a little bit out of sorts right here, and Stainhouse tries to regain possession and control this offense. Delayed penalty upcoming against the West. Grant moving in front, head fake, didn't fool Richards. As we have whistles, and a 2-minute penalty as Reach Dutch heads to the penalty box. Dutch from the Washington Stealth, couple of years in the National Lacrosse League, been a real star so far. Power play for the East. Grant the trigger man up top. Nope, back of the net. Looked like he scored from here. It hit off the backboards and then ricocheted to the back of the net. Picked up by Hawksby. Ahead of the pack, and the West has a short-handed goal. What a feed all the way down the floor. Brody Merrill picks up the pass from Hawksby and makes the East pay. Been interesting in the game. It's been a lot of opportunities on the short-handed as you see Grant feeding over to Evans. East still up a man. The diamond defensively for the West. Gate fake shot from outside. Instead tried to feed his Rochester teammate Grant. Stainhouse backs up. Grant, McBride on him. Behind the back, Evans can't handle, and here comes an opportunity again for Hawksby. A 2-on-1 for the West. Hawksby taking it himself, and another short-handed goal. Unbelievable. The West 7 in a row, and they're up by a half dozen. Take another look. The pass to Sean Evans, and Ian Hawksby just pounced on it, kept it himself. Stainhouse had to defend against both Shatler and Hawksby running the break, and Hawksby buries the goal. East needing some momentum, trailing by 6. Grant behind the goal. 8 minutes even to go in the first half. Stainhouse catches McBride there. East still controlling, shot clock winding down with Grant. Screen for Culp. Grant, a right-handed underhand, now keeps it. Pass in front to to Hall. And a crease violation against the East. Long outlet down the floor. And the West controlling, trying to slow things down a little bit. Zawicki laser beam from outside, saved by Cosmo, scooped up Stainhouse. Flick ahead to Darren Nicholas, and now further down the floor, Sean Evans in transition, and the East ends the West streak, finally getting on the board, courtesy of Sean Evans. You can see on the replay, Stainhouse very crafty with his stick, found Nicholas, and he wastes no time. A pick set up top, and Evans too easy, no chance for Richards.
Late in the second quarter, the East started to find their rhythm, and it was the red-hot Mark Steenhouse who led the way, helping to reduce the lead to 12-8 with 1 minute remaining in the period.
12-8 West. Snyder face-off win. Dutch over to Zawicki, and the behind the back. A save by Cosmo. Bounce pass up the floor. Nice passing. John Grant Jr. That was just too easy from his Rochester teammate Evans. We'll take another look. Evans pulls the defense, pulls Ethington towards him, and Grant has the empty net with 1:02 remaining. A timeout by the West. 3-goal cushion now by the team that lost last night in this All-Star Series, brought to you by Leaseplan. Doby, Codd, nice pressure out there. Codd, one of the smallest guys, but boy, does he make a huge impact on the defensive end. Speaking of Codd, picks it up. Goal is empty. Pass to Ross. It's a 4-on-2, and just as the half ends, does the goal count? It does. So the East cuts it back to a 2-goal advantage by the West. The West led by 6 goals at one point, and when you pull the goalie, you run the risk at all times.
In favor of the West, and that's the way we'll go to the locker room. Out on the floor.
The two teams went into half-time for a well-earned rest, looking to recharge the batteries for that final dash to the finish.
I believe in this group. We were embarrassed in this barn last night, and I think we got off to a good start, and I think I think we're in good shape right now. So we felt really, really good with our first quarter. I'm not sure what happened at the end there. Not how we drew it up for sure, but we're going to look to get an early one in the second half. We're going to play real physical on number 10 Nyberg, and because he's been taking liberties all night.
Second half of action, 30 minutes already in the books. The West leading 12-10 after a loss in last night's game here from Hisense. Snyder an early face-off win. West controlling. Its lead was as big as 6. It's down to 2 at this point. Doby, Shatler to the far side. Nice catch in front, getting hit in the helmet and scoring for the West is number 16, Wes Green. What a great catch and finish as he was feeling the heat. West by 3. Newman switching to the left hand. Spinning in front, losing it for the West momentarily. Ball loose and picked up by Nicholas. Nicholas ahead to Evans, puts a little mustard behind that one, and that West lead once again down to 2. Looking on the replay, nice handle there by Nicholas, and then looking ahead, Sean Evans on the breakout. Tyler Richards left to himself, and Evans a low to high shot. Stainhouse, little shoulder fake, dump in front to the crease. Goal gets moved. And a crease violation called against the East. Richards puts that goal back in place. It's not attached to the floor directly, so that's how it's able to come loose. But I can tell you from personal experience that when you hit it, it definitely hurts. Behind the back wraparound shot sails wide out of Newman's cross. 3:30 gone by in the second. Behind the back, goal for the West. It's Reese Dutch. A beautiful goal as he puts the West back up by a hat trick.
Did that make you feel good? Did that make you happy?
The crowd's been great tonight. Several thousand in attendance here at Hisense Arena. And they've seen some fantastic lacrosse. A beautiful feed inside. Steve Mortimer, number 15 goal for the West. He caught and released quickly. And you can see the Mortimer fans loving it up in the crowd.
With the lead now back out to 4, the East took a Prestige Truck Bodies timeout. John Grant Jr. soon showed why he's regarded as one of the best players in the world, leading the East on a charge with a goal of his own before assisting in another. Some individual brilliance by Steve Mortimer, though, ensured that the West still held on to a respectable 16-13 lead.
That was straight up and down. That's about as simple a score as you'll see.
West, they've looked good throughout the game, stumbling down one of the East defenders. Left hand by Newman. Stainhouse, yet another pickoff. He doesn't have many loose balls tonight, but boy does he have some intercepts, and he beats Richards again. Mark Stainhouse, man of the match last night, vying for it again here this evening.
Ball back to middle face-off.
East trailing by just 2 right now. Snyder gets a face-off that they needed. Pressured on the boards by Andrew McBride from the Calgary Roughnecks. Richards watching the ball as Culp feeds over to Evans, and the East cuts it down to 1. You can see Culp with the nice pickup, the little behind shovel pass, and just too easy. Well, the West has looked good this evening, but has let the East right back in it. They led by 6, now ball turned over. Dangerous for the West. Evans shot saved by Richards off the left knee pad. Gate over to hustle for it. West can't pick it up, East controlling. Wiles thought about a shot, pulls it back down. A chance to tie for Grant, he sends it wide. We're going to say a crease violation, I believe, and the ball back the other way for the West, surviving a scared twister move. And Reese Dutch has a couple in just a couple minutes for the West. And his West All-Stars up by 2. Dutch, so nice, so crafty with the stick. The twister where he moves the stick just a little bit, moves that head so it twists and allows the ball to go in that bottom corner. West by 2. Saved by Vince, looking long down the floor and just a bit out of the reach of Luke Wiles. As he exchanges some words, things getting heated at the timeout between Shatler and Wiles. Will step aside for the Leaseplan Dancers.
Steve, you have 2 goals here in this third quarter.
Here is the West. Zawicki has Ross on him. The Blazers' big man shot up in the air, still loose. Shatler can't handle it. Ross does. That's what size does for you. Ahead of the pack, Snyder losing it. We saw things getting testy a moment ago. Now he's going after Reese Dutch in the near corner. Snyder's got Dutch, drags him down to the floor, and you know there's going to be penalties on this one. Ty Wilkinson, one of the NLL refs, stepping in. Taking a look at the replay, Snyder loses his stick and takes exception to Dutch, maybe with a little bit of slashing action from behind. The crowd wanted physical. They're getting it now. Power play for the West. Chance to go back up by 3. Dangerous pass by Shatler, almost picked off. Zawicki catches in front. Reset the 30-second shot clock.
First shot clock for the West. Just over 3 minutes to play here.
Cross crease pass, nothing doing.
Looking for a way through.
Shatler handling for the West on the man up. Zawicki couldn't catch. Dutch does for a moment. And some shoving on those boards in the near corner. It's Nyberg for the East. Looks like Wes Green for the West. They're going at it. This is what the Australians have come to see. A brawl between East and West. 2 Aussies from rival clubs. Nyberg some uppercuts. Green trying to get in over the top. Tumbling down to the turf, and it'll get broken up. What a brawl here at Hisense. Jerseys coming off, helmets, sticks, gloves, everything flying as Nyberg and Green excite the crowd and get in the box. Well, we'll take another replay. You see a push from behind there from Green and then kind of slaps at the stick. This all initiating with that Jeff Snyder little shove down the other end, and Nyberg takes exception to it, and they start going at it. Looked like a little bit of wrestling, and then they got the gloves off.
The West are first to score in the final quarter as we hit the court with the score at 18-15 to the West All-Stars.
Nicholas for the East. Things have calmed down a bit here from Hisense. Nicholas all the way across, and a nice little jump shot with 6:50 to go, and the East now trailing by just 2. You can see Nicholas here on the replay, gets around Fry, gets just enough space, and then a bounce shot low off this floor here at Hisense, and the East back in business. Culp from the Minnesota Swarm. Over to Stainhouse, fake pass. All of a sudden, you have this feeling that the East did it last night. Maybe they can do it again tonight. Stainhouse, easy save for Richards. The ball loose in front. Dutch is there. Egan as well, and Codd comes up with it for the West. Heads up play to send it down the floor. Here's Dutch moving in, shooting, and scoring. Another transition goal from the West. Bruce Codd up to Reese Dutch. On the replay, you see Dutch here. He has way too much room to free those hands and score for the West. Well, a huge face-off right now. Every possession so important for the East as Snyder, Mr. Reliable. To Grant, Evans, shot, save Richards. Nice play by the stealth netminder as he looks ahead. Zawicki thinking transition yet again for the West. Moving all the way in, caught at his back to Zawicki. Ball loose, Jarrett Park, who's an absolute vacuum at ground balls, picks that one up. The defenseman Codd. Sending on over, Richards makes another save. Evans battling for it, but Hawksby has it. Hawksby from the Edmonton Rush, the northernmost team of these North American squads participating, and a crease violation. East with possession. Vince ahead to Stainhouse. It's do or die time for the East right now. Grant's catching, nifty move, shot and a goal. A huge goal from John Grant, cutting that West lead down to 2. And don't say that the older team is done just as of yet. You can see Stainhouse threading the needle, and Grant, man, you give him that little opening and he'll shoot down low. Another possession for the East. Grant can't handle the pass. Ball loose near side. Jeff Snyder, who once had 244 loose balls in a season, picks up. Still plenty of time. Remember, a face-off after you score. And Jeff Snyder so good. Ethington battling for the ball, wearing Carlson's jersey, actually. And a delayed penalty upcoming here against the West as McBride picks up. East looking to cut it to 1. Grant into the offensive zone. Here's Stainhouse. Hall cuts across the crease. Grant from outside, he scores! A couple in a row from John Grant, and the West leading by just 1. Fans absolutely loving it. It's a nail-biter here from Hisense. 19 West, 18 East. Zawicki taking the face-off, as is Jeff Snyder. Snyder's won the majority of them over these 2 days here at Hisense. Wins another one, flicks on over to Jarrett Park. Up ahead, Grant shot. Richards makes the save. Stainhouse scoops up the loose ball. Grant again. Bounce shot, another save by Richards. Stainhouse, another loose ball. Grant being held by McBride, now released. Wiles catches on the doorstep and ties the game at 19. The East roars back from a 6-goal deficit earlier. Luke Wiles catches and beats Richards, ties things up in the waning moments here at Hisense. Shatler controlling. Can the West get goal number 20? McBride feed to Doby, couldn't handle. Snyder battling for it. Snyder going after the loose ball with Shatler. He can't handle, neither can Jarrett Park. Ball loose far side, 45 seconds remaining as Dobie and Park battle for it in this tie game. Leaseplan game number 2 of the All-Star Series. Grant all alone, and the East leads for the first time since the early moments of the first quarter, 20-19. It's that man again, John Grant, as he gets the crowd on its feet. The West needs this face-off. Just as I say that, Snyder takes it. Can they kill it off? Dutch pressuring the ball on Snyder. Snyder keeping an eye on the clock. And you know what? A 10-second violation. He didn't get rid of it in time. A timeout called on the field. The West with a chance to tie.
Do that. Wasn't watching the clock in the West with a timeout and one opportunity to tie it up.
So the West have pulled their goalie. This final possession here, 6-on-5 for the West. Shatler. A tie game would send us to overtime. Shatler again, now feeding Dobie, gets it back, shot low, never got through to Vince, I don't believe. Ball loose in front of the crease. Vince thought about coming out, does not. Ethington shoved, and they're going to call a loose ball push as Ross pushed Ethington from behind. Just a few seconds remaining here at Hisense. Wilkinson saying the ball is in the far goal line extended in that corner there. Fans on the edge of their seats. The West needs a goal quickly. That shot sails wide. Dutch picks up, fires toward the cage, and that'll do it. The East All-Stars have defeated the West for the second consecutive night, and the Leaseplan Cup belongs to the East. Congratulations all around. Matt Vince with the high fives for Jordan Hall, Jeff Snyder. How about Mark Stainhouse, last night's man of the match, as we take a look at the final stats.
Incredibly, John Grant Jr. scored 6 critical goals to keep the East in the game, and he was the well-deserved recipient of the MVP award. East captain Gary Gate was delighted with the result.
Gary, pretty tight in the end.
Yeah, we gave him a chance and they couldn't finish it, so John Grant stepped up at the end and put the game away. It was a great job by him.
Were you still confident at halftime?
Yeah, I think we just need to, step it up and take advantage of some of our opportunities. And when it came time to get the job done, we did.
And a bit of niggle out there in the second half. What was going on there?
It was just, when you're playing hard, things happen, and it was good to see a couple guys get after it.
Pretty disappointing finish there in front for what, every part of the game except the last 30 seconds?
Very disappointed. I don't know how we let that one slip away. They're a very talented team on that eastern side. So, I thought we carried the play for most of the game, but unfortunately we couldn't close it out. I thought there was a cheap call there at the end by the ref that kind of that didn't allow us to have a last chance there. But it was a great experience. We were pretty happy to be out here.
Big turnaround from last night.
Yeah, we felt a little embarrassed last night and tried to regroup today, and unfortunately again came up a little bit short, but came out with a much better effort, played hard.
John, how was it out there?
It was a closer game than we would have liked, but we were able to come through in the end. We had, I think, an older team, so we had some more leadership, and we stuck to our guns and we came through in the end.
Were you confident at halftime?
Yeah, we're always confident. You have to be.
And you can't tell me you were comfortable with 3 minutes to go in that game.
I kind of was. I was getting some ribbon from the beer garden there, and I promised the guys I'd get the last 3 goals, and I was lucky enough to do it. So, I would have looked like a bit of an idiot if we'd lost that game. But, it was a great time, and we loved being here. And, I'd like to give it up to some of those Australian guys played a hell of a match tonight. The 2 guys got in the scuffle, and Nicholson had 3 goals, so good for them, and it was a privilege to be here.
And what about your own game, mate? We've talked to a lot of the players during the week. They tend to rate you as one of the best players in the game today.
It's an honor if anyone says anything like that. I don't really pay much attention to it. I just try to play as best as I can, and hopefully things work out, and tonight it did, and I'm glad we came all this way, and the East got a championship out of it.
Well, what a great victory to the East, with the proud captain Gary Gates accepting the Leaseplan National Lacrosse League All-Star Series trophy. Both teams put on a great display of world-class lacrosse for the large Melbourne crowds, who love every minute of the exciting, entertaining action. In the end, it was the East who prospered, taking the series 2-0 in a clean sweep. And who can forget the titanic showdown between Wes Green and Keith Nyberg, a heavyweight clash that everyone is talking about.
Wes got me pretty good in the corner there from behind to start it, and he got the first couple punches in, I think.
I don't know about that. You had your gloves off before you turned around, mate. But, you know, it's all part of the game. Someone had to do it. Crowd loved it, so, you know, bit of fun.
I saw a lot of haymakers.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know how to fight to save my life, so you can probably see that. But you know, a few of the boys were a little upset with the way Nyberg was playing out there. You know, there was a bit of chatter on the box, and you know, someone had to step up and do it. So I thought I'd do it for the boys. Yeah.
Have you two kissed and made up?
Yeah, we shook hands downstairs. It's, you know, what happens on the court happens on the court, and when the game's over, we'll go have a beer later on for sure. I just went.
Show us your chin, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Well, some people were saying, yeah, you guys weren't taking it seriously. You two certainly changed that.
Yeah, I disagree. Definitely the Aussie guys were coming to play hard, and I think, as you saw, you know, when we were down, both teams went really hard that whole game tonight to get the win. I mean, came right down to the wire, and no one can argue that the guys didn't want to win that game. No way.
No. Hopefully this will be your last fight.
Yeah, well, I'll retire 1-0. That's fine.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Guys, I want a hug, please. I want a hug.
The Leaseplan All-Star Series has been an outstanding success, with the enthusiastic Melbourne crowds embracing the very best of international lacrosse.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to lacrosse in Australia. It's the two most powerful teams to ever venture down here. It's never been seen before, so it's terrific for it to finally occur, and we certainly hope that the fans or the general public in Australia really warm to the game, and we get kids saying, I want to play this game. That's really what we're trying to do.
This has been unbelievable. I've been involved in the sport for many years now, and this is the first time that we've had an event like this come to Australia, to see the crowd, to see the razzmatazz that's gone with it. Unbelievable. Yep, a real catalyst to future events, I would think. The crowd were really into it. They loved the little fight that went on in the corner, but they just loved the excitement of it. It's a spectator sport, lacrosse, and the more spectators that we can get to it, the better the sport will be.
We hope that you've enjoyed the Leaseplan National Lacrosse League All-Star Series here from the Hisense Arena in Melbourne. Until next time, bye for now.